leading to things like curb cuts or traffic calming devices, which we're talking about Boyceville and the idea of the school being on one side and the businesses on the other, and there's, you know, the children crossing the street and there's traffic. It was just, let's talk about that. It wasn't, the byway has no authority to change anything. There's nothing that affects home rule. The town zoning board, the town planning board has absolute authority in all of the 7 municipalities. This plan was accepted by the town of Andes this afternoon, and Marty Donnelly stated if he thought there was anything that the town of Andes was giving up by participating in this, he would not support it. And I lived in the Andes for 5 years. It's a very conservative area. If there was anything to be suspicious about in this plan, Andes would not have supported it. It's also been passed in, Peter or Carol, was it Fleischmann's?
Fleischmann's, Margaretville, and the town of Middletown.
All of Delaware County, all of those Delaware County end of the byway have approved going forward with this application. Now this application is nothing binding about it. It's being sent to the state program in Albany. It'll take a while for them to decide what to do. If they don't like something, they can go back to us. This is a participatory program. If you feel suspicious about it, come to a meeting and talk to us about it. You know, we worked for a couple of years on this. There were a lot of public announcements about it, and I felt personally kind of blindsided with what happened because nobody had picked up the phone to ask me about it. I'm in the phone book, SELKOWITZ, Robert, 3024 State Route 28, Ashokan, 657-6982. You can stop by. I have a sign on the road. It says Robert Selkowitz Paintings. You can look at my paintings. The other section, page 103, was singled out because it mentions certain the Tug Hill program, the Greenway, the Adirondack Park Association were mentioned as other examples of kind of overarching organizations. The byway isn't like that, okay? The Adirondack Park Association has some teeth to it, doesn't it? It has regulations. The woman who spoke at the meeting said she had land in the Adirondacks. Everybody hates the APA. The Scenic Byway is for the promotion of tourism and for the enjoyment of the region, also by its residents. One of the things that we're doing is getting signage so that people can see where the hiking trails of the Catskill Park are located, because after 108 years, the DEC hasn't managed to put up any signs. We've also worked on the kiosk. There's a 16-panel informational kiosk in Mount Tremper. It's in Shandaken, but all people can certainly visit it, that actually tells you something about the nature of the region that we live in. Not only park things, but community things. A lot of people have no idea what it is that they're in when they're here. We're in a state park. Nothing in the byway is any stricter than what we're already living with by being within the Catskill Park and the New York City watershed. All of this fear is unfounded, I believe. I may be wrong, but I believe that what we're doing has possible benefit if we act on it. This is not a silver bullet. If you approve this, it just means that the application is sent to Albany. And as I said last night in Shandaken, it could be the beginning of the next ice age before Albany actually moves on. Our responsibility, or our opportunity, is to live as if we already are the Scenic Byway, to have that recognition, and to do things to work together to try to save some of the crumbling businesses and houses along this route. It's really sad for me. After 35 years of driving up and down this road, I tell you, I'm enjoying the pavement. I really am enjoying the pavement. I rode from Andes to Delhi, and it was like Shandaken was a couple of years ago. It was terrible. We have a nice, smooth road. Now let's try to smooth out some of the economic disabilities that are happening with all of our vacant, landmark commercial properties. It's just a disaster. I had proposed 2 years ago, when we first started this, that we make a welcome center in one of the vacant storefronts. I sat with Mike Hine, he said, great idea, and not much money. I sat with Rick Remsnyder, our county tourism officer, he said, great idea, not much money. I filled out an application for March Gallagher, $80,000 to run it and staff it and actually pay people $15 an hour to be there. $86,000, didn't get it, nothing's happened. You know, we have an opportunity coming up to build a little something at the Interpretive Center, but to have, you know, this Catskill Park and all of our businesses and opportunities here and have no place anyone can go to ask a question, where can I stay tonight? Where's a good place to eat? What is the Catskill Park? Where do I go hiking? It's ridiculous. It's just, it's pathetic. And when I go to New Paltz and see the headquarters of DEC built for themselves down there, 25 years they've been waiting to build something here, it infuriates me. It just infuriates me with all the salaries that they're getting, that they can't provide a service to the people here. And I'm not so happy with Ulster County Tourism either. So I didn't want to get too emotional tonight. I didn't want to take away from Charlie's thunder. I'm not done. I want to separate the scenic byway from these other long simmering issues and put it in the perspective that it deserves. And this is a draft. We are happy to remove the offending passages. And I asked the board at a future meeting to consider. We've asked you also to give us examples of where you have problems with this so it can be addressed.
Okay.
I think it went over 5
Peter,
minutes.
Linda, and myself went to another meeting. Peter, Linda, and I went to a meeting last Wednesday with the collaborative, and I'd like to congratulate the collaborative because I think they were very understanding of our concerns, and I had a whole different feeling when I left there than I did when I went. I had the feeling that that this was a big rush thing, we had to do it right now, and this wasn't the case, and I appreciate your candor with us. I think, as far as I know, all three of us agreed that the scenic byway will be a very good thing for the area. However, the present document needs to be tweaked. It needs some work done on it. Our suggestion to the collaborative, which I believe they accepted, was that each person on our board has a copy of the document, highlight what concerns you, and they will either change it, address it, explain it, but we will at least have a vehicle to move forward with. Each person, if they will give their copy to Sue Horner at Bert's office, she will tabulate this, she will then give it to the collaborative, and they will address these issues. There are things in there that, some of them are personal in my professional career that I found are absolute nightmares, like shared driveways. Talk about a nightmare, there's one. I know it's a great planning tool, but talk about making bad neighbors, that's way in the world. But so there's many things like that, and I think if you take out references to the APA, references to the Tug Hill Commission, it makes people very uncomfortable. And I think if you can present a document that we know is not a regulation, which we know, but that doesn't give the scenario of all these APAs and all that it would be regulatory. Just take that image away. Then I think we got a deal going. That's just my feeling.
And that's the reality, because
that's a reality. You can make people comfortable with it. And I think it'd be good for the area.
It has nothing to do with superseding any home rule.
That's correct.
I'd also like to see input from the public if they, because people from the townspeople have read it, and whatever they don't like in it, we should look at it.
And
there could be stuff that we don't. So,
well, then why don't they send in their comments to the supervisor's secretary there and include that also? Is that all right?
Yes.
Yep. And
We'll put it in together with what they get from the town
and
board.
it is on the Town of Shandaken website. Is that correct, Peter?